Ag Bioscience, the #1 ag tech podcast globally, is now available on video. Hear from leaders and innovators across food, animal health, plant science, ag tech, and agriculture. Mondays at 6 a.m. on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. While you're there, subscribe and leave us a review. It's the Ag Bioscience Podcast with Agronovis Indiana. Get more information at agronovisindiana.com.
The internet changed how we work. AI is changing what work gets done. A bank cut loan processing from days to hours. A student built an AI scheduler, improving on-time delivery from under 70% to over 90%. Most teams know AI matters, but aren't sure where to start. InAI is Indiana's statewide AI adoption effort, built with industry, academia, and community partners, helping you move from understanding to action. Visit inaiready.com.
This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for the morning of Thursday, June 25th, 2026. I'm Alex Brown. Construction on the Indiana portion of the Interstate 69 Ohio River Crossing project is entering its final months, with crews expected to complete the Evansville approach by the end of this year. Spokesperson Mindy Peterson said the Evansville section will contribute to the 4-lane bridge's construction.
We truly are in a floodplain, nearly this entire area here. And so when you talk about constructing the I-69 bridge, which will be a multi-year project, you can really be affected by high water in that type of situation. So the approach roadways and bridges being built now have that elevation that will provide the access to build that I-69 bridge. So what is happening now will allow us to have all-weather construction access to build the bridge. That's huge.
Construction on the bridge, which will connect Evansville to Henderson, Kentucky, is slated to begin next year and be complete by 2031. The U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs is planning a new outpatient clinic in New Albany in an effort to expand healthcare services for veterans in the greater Louisville area. The VA did not disclose its financial investment in the facility, but said it would serve nearly 96,000 veterans when it opens in 2029. Hoosiers shopping for their 4th of July cookout may see slightly lower prices this year, according to the Indiana Farm Bureau. The organization's annual Summer Cookout Market Basket survey shows residents are paying an average of $66.73 for a cookout feeding 10 people this summer, a 7% decrease from last year. From the #1 source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Thanks for listening to this IBJ Media podcast. You're probably going to remember this ad. Do you know why? Podcast advertising works. 85% of listeners recalled hearing an ad during a podcast, and 70% of podcast listeners have acted after hearing an ad. So whether you're looking to be heard across the entire IBJ Media Podcast Network, sponsor one of our shows, or just start with a 30-second ad, IBJ Media can help. Contact advertise@ibj.com to learn more.
The Indiana Family and Social Services Administration is participating in a pilot initiative to use artificial intelligence for Medicaid fraud prevention. Here's Gary Dick.
The pilot, launched by the Federal Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, grants the state agency free access to advanced AI software from Oracle to analyze Medicaid claims for suspect billing patterns like upcoding and ghost services. FSSA announced the 90-day partnership Wednesday, boasting of the software's potential to identify fraudulent claims before they are paid. The agency also intends to test the machine learning software's ability to suggest claims edits, prior authorization triggers, and policy changes, as well as create a shared platform for joint fraud investigations and accelerated enforcement actions against high-risk providers. In exchange, Indiana FSSA will assess whether other states can use Oracle's models and software for Medicaid fraud detection and identify technical, legal, and privacy issues to fix before a broader rollout in a report to CMS. The pilot initiative is part of federal and state efforts to root out waste, fraud, and abuse within Medicaid, and the latest example of Governor Mike Braun's embrace of AI. One key reason for the anti-fraud push is that new federal law will reduce states' Medicaid matching rate based on error rates in the future. This is Gary Dick for Inside Indiana Business Radio.
A pair of students from Carmel High School took the top prize this month at the 2026 Started Up Challenge Finals, which showcases student entrepreneurs from around the state. Ria Koya and Zaina Khan won the first place prize for OccluSense, which aims to transform IV safety by replacing one-size-fits-all alarm systems with context-aware pressure analysis. The students say this will reduce alarm fatigue and prevent unnecessary patient mortality in hospitals. The win gives Koya and Khan $25,000 in seed funding to further develop their business. Hard Rock Casino Northern Indiana President Matt Schufert is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast with Gary Dick, presented by PNC, a weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports and entertainment, and beyond. Available now on the IBJ Media app or your favorite podcast provider. I'm Alex Brown for Inside Indiana Business Radio On Demand.